definitely been a minute, but I'm back. Did you miss me?
Simple whiskey, Cyncere. Here to keep it 100. What's the ABV? Keep it simple. Simple whiskey. It be sweeter.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Simple Whiskey Show. I'm Cyncere, and tonight I'm ending my hiatus from long-form content with a bottle that I picked up recently. Booker's 2024-02, the Beam House batch. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Simple Whiskey. Let's jump right in. While I love putting out new content for those like me that are either just getting started on their whiskey journey or just following along with mine as we uncover new whiskeys and try a whole lot of different things, I did have to take a break. Unfortunately, I switched jobs. Now that I'm acclimated in my new role, the plan is to get more content up and on a regular basis. And in the meantime, let's get on to the bottle at hand. This is the second release from Booker's this year. Springfield batch was the first one. I also have it. I'll probably do another video on that one at a later date. But this particular one, I picked up recently from a drop here in Virginia. It was an unplanned last minute grab. I had to coach out of town early in the morning, and obviously I got the alert sitting on the bench coaching, and when I got off, I said, all right, I'll just swing by a store on the way back and see what's left over. This was left over. I did pass up on Makers, the Heart release, their wood finishing series that they supposedly discontinued, then they still came out with another one. Let me know if that was a mistake passing up on that Maker's Mark. So before we dive right in, a little bit of fun facts about the bottle. 62.3% alcohol by volume, 124.6 proof, 7 years, 2 months, and 22 days old is the age statement on this one. Again, batch 2024-02. Each one of these comes with the batch story, but for the most part, you turn them over, you got your master distiller notes, tells you where each one of the bourbons that they added to this came from, where exactly in the rick house, what percentage of it came from it. So it gives you the full rundown, the full mix, the whole blend. I've always thought this was pretty cool. I wish every bourbon came with this because, again, it gives you at least their take on it. And obviously, I'm by no stretch a sommelier or a master distiller. So when I give you some of my funky notes, you got a full-blown distiller's note card here in the Booker's box. So first sip of the night, and this one, again, coming in at that above 120. It's gonna be a little bit up there, but you know, the pro to having it be the first sip of the night is you, one, get a full raw uncut taste of exactly what you're sipping. The downside is I like to warm up a little bit, whether it be with like Buffalo Trace or Wild Turkey 101, something else to kind of get you through that first bite. But we'll do the raw, real, and uncut here. As you can see, I'd already had a sip of this one a couple of weeks ago when I first got it. I didn't really think that it was that great. Hopefully a couple of weeks going by is giving it some time to open up. So let's see what we got tonight. On the nose, I get more of a brighter, almost like a green apple, like a fresh, crisp bite into a green apple almost, is if it had a scent. That's what I'm getting on the nose. I don't get the usual peanut like I usually do. It's more of a very faint hint of peanut on this one. Let's give it a sip. First sip of the night does hit a little different, but surprisingly not as strong as I thought it would be for 124, 126, whatever it was, proof for the first sip of the night. Some of those sweet notes that I got on the nose did come through a little bit more in here. The fruit note I get may not quite be green apple. I can't put my finger on what it is, but it's something bright, some sort of a brighter fruit. I get a decent amount of oak, which I didn't get on the nose at all. But it does have a nice full rounded finish of more of a oaky note. And then in addition to that, on the finish, I do get a little bit of that peanut shell. Nowhere near as deep as I'm used to from Jim Beam or Booker products. But I definitely get that peanut shelly aftertaste in the finish. But the real question is this better than it was 2-3 weeks ago when I first tried it? think I'm gonna have to do a second sip just to let that heat wear off from the first pour. So let's see. It's actually really good. That second sip, I no longer get that crazy amount of heat, so you don't get that super ethanol-y burn. It is a higher proof, as I've mentioned, but it does tame down after you get to that second sip. I do think that with a few drops of water, it will probably open this thing up a little bit even more, but it's opened up quite nice over just a couple of weeks that I've had it uncorked and been able to get a sip on it. I don't know why, but when I took my first sip of this a few weeks ago, I got some like stiffer, I didn't get that fruit note that I'm getting now, but I got a little bit sweet heat, and I was picking up more of a cinnamony note that first time, but I don't get any cinnamon. I mainly get some sort of a brighter fruit, apple, and then a little bit of peanut shell on the finish, but I changed my mind. I guess this is one that I'll be reaching back for. I can taste the peanutty. Every breath I take, I can taste a little bit more of that peanutty aftertaste. It's not as strong on the palate during the mouthfeel nor during the initial nosing or anything, but on the finish, I definitely get a lot more of that Booker's peanut, but nowhere near as heavy on the actual liquid itself. And the 7-year age statement, to me, I think that in itself probably lends some to the level of complexity that you get once you get to the finish to even still pick up on the traditional Booker note that I always get. So I do think that additional year versus some of the ones they've done in the past that were, I think, 6 year, I think that makes a difference. Let me know in the comments if you think it makes a difference. Again, I have truly enjoyed every Booker's that I've had, some more than other. I think the Mighty Fine batch is still my favorite. So before we leave, real quick, simple thoughts on this one. MSRP, I paid $100. I believe I've seen these for $79.99 in some of the previous batches, so $80 to $100. Secondary pricing, you don't see this one do a whole lot of fluctuation usually, unless it's a really good batch. Like I think a couple years ago they mentioned a Charlie's batch that was supposedly really good that took off on the secondary, but secondary on this, probably $100 to $120. Age statement on this, 7 years, 2 months, 22 days. Proof on this one's 124.6 proof. Like I said, that's right in that sweet spot of some of your good Friday night pours or some of your good campfire sippers whenever the 95-degree weather leaves us here in Virginia. But in the meantime, come down to the whiskey room and we'll sip in the AC and it'll warm your soul just the same. Distillery, Jim Beam. And then the simple advice for this one, try before you buy. For $100 a bottle, which is again what I paid for it, to me there are a lot of other good bottles to great bottles for less money than that. And at the end of the day, if this went way up on secondary, I would say pass. But the fact that you can probably find it, depending on what state you're in, anywhere from 80 to 100. Presentation, overall, for me, this is one that I just like having the Bookers if I can get a hold of them as they come out. But again, that's just me. In terms of bang for your buck, I think that try it before you buy it would be my true recommendation on this one, because again, not everybody likes the traditional Booker's juice. If you've never had it before and you're not into the whole peanutty flavors that you usually get, this one does go away from that a little bit, and it does lend to a little bit more of a citrusy, green apple, some sort of a brighter note than I'm used to with Booker's, so it is different from some of the ones that I've had. Maybe I'll do a blind tasting with this and a couple of the other ones soon as well, but try it before you buy it. All right, so if you've enjoyed this video and enjoyed following my journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Simple Whiskey. I've been recently adding some of my short form content to Instagram and TikTok, so if you're more into shorts or if you're on either of those platforms, I'd love to link up, so don't forget to follow me there as well. As always, please drink responsibly, keep it simple, and cheers.